They are in a pretty aggressive outlook for flash flooding today. They've been bumped up to a level 3 out of 4. This is a live camera over the Galleria, so that's the Southwest Freeway off there to the distance. And so far, people are able to move around. The only hot spot is on the east side of town, but now we're watching these storms that will be moving in.
That's a view from above, but down on the ground, Britta, we have Fox Weather correspondent Katie Byrne live in Houston this morning. She is joining us right now from the Fox Weather Beast with conditions out there, and I'm sure it has been a rough commute this morning, Katie, because you traveled quite a distance getting to Houston.
Yes, we got here from Dallas last night, and there was some rain along the way, but we are in fact on the east side of the city trying to get a look at some of those flood prone areas. I want to show you what we're seeing here just to give you an idea. We have noticed some flooding hotspots. We've got the Harris County Flood Control District flagging some of these hotspots this morning since early hours today around 4 local time, flagging some of the spots we've seen heavy rain, and we've already seen some streets flooded out like this one here. We're off of Market Street, right off of Interstate 10. So that's how close we are to the highway. We're near Normandy Fuel Stop, if you're familiar with the area, but you could see we've got a lot of water on the ground here. We drove in just to check it out a little bit ago. We can get a little bit closer, I think, to show you. You can see the median of the road right now, but as you get closer, you can't see any of the road. So it's just covered in rain. When we tried to turn around earlier, you kind of dipped into the side. It gets a bit lower than you expect. So we didn't want to go too far this time just because we wanted to show you this picture. But this is a perfect example of driving around, seeing flooded streets, and realizing that you might not know how deep that water is. And you just don't want to drive through it because you don't know what you're driving into. So we're going to keep driving around and giving you a look of what we're seeing across Houston this morning. We know we can expect heavy showers, thunderstorms, even flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes today. The flash flood threat, though, in Houston is what we're really paying attention to because we know we've got that upgraded to a level 3 out of 4 today. So we're watching it here. I thought this was interesting too. More than 1 in 4 homes are at risk of flooding, major flood risk, according to a nonprofit here in Houston that kind of tracks FEMA maps, climate data, all kinds of things, and they look at over a 30-year period. It's a nonprofit in the area that does this work. I thought that was really interesting and kind of gives you insight on what people in Houston are used to. They are, in a way, used to dealing with flooding. As we look back out at the street now, I want to show you because we are getting these huge lightning flashes. I don't know if you were able to catch that one. We'll probably get another. We're also hearing some rumbles of thunder, but we know Houston is a flat city. It's hard for the water to drain. It's something that people in this city are familiar with and deal with, unfortunately, relatively often. And we've also got nearby bayous and creeks that can overflow too. So we're going to keep making our way around and just kind of giving you what it looks like from the ground here. And listen, we're running into flooding all over the east side of the city right now, and we'll try to bring you the latest as we see it.
Yeah, Katie, and the concern is, of course, that it's going to get worse. We're just looking at radar trends, probably 100 miles from where you are right now. We have a lot of thunderstorm development that will be moving towards you. So it's only going to get worse. But to your point, talking about what Houstonians are used to, I'm a 7-year resident of Houston, and I can gosh, it's hard to count how many times I've seen flooding just in my own neighborhood when I lived there. And the streets are made to flood. And when people move to Houston, they're so shocked to hear that, but that's how it works. The streets are made to flood to take the water to the creeks and bayous, and then the creeks and bayous get the water down to the Gulf. And it's a system that works really well until there's too much for the system to deal with. And unfortunately, that's what happens every time. It's just too much rain in a short amount of time.
Such great insight for people to understand that, and your own personal experience, I think, helps kind of paint that picture too, because I've been to Houston a bunch, but living here is different, and to live here for 7 years, I'm sure you're very familiar with what so many people here deal with.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern, Katie, is that this morning, with exception of the east side, I mean, where you're driving right now, on the east side, just for reference for our viewers, I'm going to put a locator on for Katie. She's riding right through that flash flood warning that you see flashing up to the east of downtown. You know, everybody else that lives in our other suburbs are able to start their day. So you're going to have all these folks that are driving into downtown, then this heavy rain's going to set in, and we're going to have a hot mess on our hands by lunchtime.
Yeah, we're gonna be paying attention to it. Back on I-10 right now, where you can see a lot of those cars getting on the roads right now, probably heading to work, and we're only going to see that increase in the next hour or so.
Katie, I imagine you're going to be there throughout the day checking this out, and as people get up and go back to work, probably. Oh, there's some lightning right there. Great shot, Katie. You guys need to be careful as well. Have you passed any cars that have been stalled, or people have been roads that have been closed off?
Nothing like that just yet, but we know that, you know, this is a saturated area. Just in the last week, some parts of Houston have picked up 3 inches of rain. So that's something that we're definitely going to be paying attention to. And over in places like Dallas, where we were yesterday, just from the rain that we had last week, that was a huge issue. We had rescue crews responding to water cars that were stuck in water, and tragically turned deadly in the Dallas area. One driver couldn't escape it. So a very scary scene for people who are driving through rain and flooding. And I can tell you just from our experience this morning, I mean, we're in a high water truck. We're in the Fox Weather Beast. We've got the big wheels and we are raised, and we still kind of turned around in some of the flooding before we thought we got too far into it. And it did dip lower than we expected. So it's just something to be monitoring at all times.
Yeah, please be safe out there. We'll check in with you throughout the day. We appreciate the updates from the road. That is Fox Weather correspondent Katie Byrne. We'll check in with you throughout the day, live right now from Houston.